The storm strikes the mountain with all its fury, but the mountain does not move. This is how you must learn to stand, to act as if nothing bothers you, not because you are numb, not because you are blind, but because your center has been forged in fire, and no passing wind can unmake what has been sealed in silence. Tell me, warrior, when the storm rages against your life, will you stand like the mountain, or will you crumble like the sand? From Musashi's own hand came this truth. Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye. He understood what most men never learn, that strength does not live in the swing of the blade, but in the calm hand that holds it steady when fear and doubt try to shake it loose. The duel is decided long before the swords meet. The one who cannot be bothered cannot be broken. You live in a world that feeds on your reactions. It waits for you to flinch, to tremble, to explain every insult, every setback, every whisper of doubt is a strike meant to pull you off balance. But Musashi's way was forged in solitude. He walked roads where no man praised him, fought battles where no friend stood beside him, and sharpened his edge not against applause, but against silence. If you wish to master yourself, you must do the same. When noise surrounds you, answer with stillness. When anger tempts you, hold your fire until it burns itself out when the world claws at your flesh. Let your mind stand apart, like the moon untouched by the storms below. The cherry blossoms fall each spring, yet the pine holds its green through every season. Do not be like the blossom, moved by every passing wind, beautiful for a moment, then gone. Be the pine, rooted, enduring, silent. But silence is not weakness, it is a blade. And the one who can act as if nothing bothers him is the one who holds that blade sharper than any other. Ask yourself now, what owns your reaction? The insult of a stranger? The betrayal of a friend? The failure of a plan? If your face twists with every strike, you are still a servant. If your heart stumbles at every wound, you are still untrained. The wolf in the wild does not explain itself to the deer. The hawk does not ask the sparrow for permission to fly. Why then do you kneel to the judgments of men who know nothing of the path you walk? He proved it with nothing but wood. Warriors armed with steel came certain of their victory. Musashi stood calm, unbothered. One strike from a wooden blade broke their pride and showed the truth. The weapon is nothing. The stillness of the hand is everything. That is the lesson. To act as if nothing bothers you is not to deny the storm, but to know its voice does not reach your core. The storm is loud, but it cannot enter the mountain. The river is fierce, but it cannot move the stone. When insult strikes, remain still. When doubt whispers, remain still. When loss cuts you open, remain still. Stillness is not inaction. Stillness is command. The warrior who stands unbothered commands the battlefield long before the swords are drawn. But hear this, to act as if nothing bothers you is not to hide weakness behind a mask. It is to burn weakness in the forge of discipline until only steel remains. Pretending is brittle. Forging is unbreakable. If you wear a mask of calm but inside are torn apart, your enemy will smell the fracture. Your life will reveal the crack. You must not pretend. You must become. How? By training your mind as you would your blade. Every insult is a chance to sharpen silence. Every setback is a chance to harden resolve. Every moment of solitude is a chance to forge stillness. And every day, the question returns. Will you stand like the mountain, or will you crumble like the sand? The bamboo bends but does not break. The raven waits for its moment, silent in the branches. The serpent coils with patience, unmoved by rushing prey. Learn from them. Do not waste your fire on every passing shadow. Keep your strike for when it matters. The enemy is not the insult. The enemy is your reaction to it. The enemy is not the storm. The enemy is the fear that trembles before it. The enemy is not the failure. The enemy is the voice that says you are ruined by it. Slay that enemy first. For when the inner voice is silent, no outer strike can wound you. In the stillness of his solitude, Musashi carved these words: "Do nothing that is of no use. What use is it to argue with a fool? What use is it to shout at the storm? What use is it to explain your path to those who cannot walk it? Every wasted word, every wasted gesture, every wasted thought, these are the rust on the blade. And rust dulls steel faster than any strike. You must polish yourself daily, sharpen your silence, temper your patience, strike only when necessary. This is not weakness, this is mastery. And mastery is not a gift. It is not found, it is forged. Forged in nights where you sit alone, your own mind attacking you, and you do not yield. Forged in mornings when the body begs to rest, and you rise anyway. Forged in the 1,000 little battles where you choose the harder road, the quieter response, the still hand. A man who has mastered himself acts as if nothing bothers him, because nothing reaches deep enough to bend him. The roots of the pine run deeper than the frost. The fire in the forge runs hotter than the storm. And the silence of the mountain is older than the sea. So I ask you again, warrior, when the storm strikes, will you stand like the mountain or will you crumble like the sand? The storm is loud, but it is blind. It screams, it rages, it tears at everything in its path. Yet the one who has learned to act unbothered sees through it. He knows that noise is only noise. Rain does not pierce steel. Thunder does not break stone. The lightning may strike, but the mountain stands unmoved. You must train yourself to become like that mountain. Not because the storm will spare you, it won't. It will strike you harder than others. But your strength does not come from avoiding the strike. It comes from refusing to tremble when it lands. The hawk does not waste its wings flapping at every shadow. It waits, still, unbothered, high above the chaos. It circles in silence. And then, one strike, one moment, one clean kill. This is how you must act in your own life. Do not scatter your fire on every insult. Do not waste your steel on every passing fool. Hold your silence. Wait for the moment that matters. Strike once, and let it end. To act as if nothing bothers you is not the same as ignoring reality. It is seeing reality sharper than anyone else, but refusing to let it bend your form. It is like a blade held in perfect balance. You feel the weight, but you do not shake. You feel the heat, but you do not break. There are endless doors that open to defeat, fear, anger, envy, doubt. But the door to mastery is narrow. It is walked only by the one who remains still when every shadow tries to move him. Picture the wolf. It does not bark at every rustle in the forest. It saves its voice, saves its teeth. It endures hunger in silence. It moves when the moment calls. It kills when the strike cannot be missed. This is how you must walk. Like the wolf, not the hound. Silent, patient, disciplined. Yet discipline is not born of ease. It is born of fire. Steel does not harden without the forge. Your mind will not harden without trial. To act as if nothing bothers you, you must pass through the fire again and again, until reaction burns away and only command remains. The forge does not care about your excuses. It does not care about your fear. It burns weakness into ash and seals strength in steel. Every trial in your life is that forge. Every insult is the hammer. Every setback is the fire. If you let it shape you, you will emerge unbreakable. If you flee, you remain brittle, fit only to snap when the storm returns. But hear this warning. The world will tempt you with masks. It will tell you, wear calmness on your face, even if your heart is weak. But a mask fools no one for long. The cracks will show, your enemy will find them. A mask is paper, one drop of rain, and it dissolves. True calm is forged, not faked. You must become the steel itself, not the paint upon its surface. There will be moments when words cut deeper than blades. Moments when betrayal feels like fire in the lungs. Moments when failure screams louder than thunder. In those moments, the weak explain. The weak shout. The weak crumble. But the warrior who has trained stillness does not react. He lets the insult fall like rain on armor. He lets the fire burn against stone. He lets the scream fade into silence. And when the silence returns, he remains, unbroken. This is not indifference. This is dominance. For the man who controls his reactions controls the field. The one who flinches loses. The one who shouts weakens. The one who explains kneels. But the one who remains still, he commands everything. Think of the serpent. It does not lash out at every vibration in the earth. It coils silent, patient, its eyes fixed, its tongue tasting the air. And then, a strike so fast that no prey can flee. The serpent teaches you this. Your silence is your weapon. Your patience is your edge. Act as if nothing bothers you. And when you finally move, it will be decisive. But to reach this place, you must practice daily. You cannot forge steel in one strike of the hammer. It takes countless blows, countless nights of fire, countless mornings of cold resolve. Train your mind as you would train your sword. Every irritation you ignore is a sharpening stroke. Every insult you refuse to answer is another layer of steel. Every moment you remain calm in the face of chaos is another step toward mastery. And mastery is rare. The world is full of men who flinch, full of men who kneel to every word, full of men whose faces betray every weakness. Do not be one of them. Be the mountain in the storm. Be the hawk in the sky. Be the wolf in the forest. Be the serpent in silence. Forge yourself until nothing reaches you, and then strike with clarity when the moment demands. So now I command you to stop, to reflect. What is it that still bothers you? Name it, face it, and ask yourself, does it deserve your reaction? Or will you burn it away in the forge until only silence remains? Solitude is the battlefield most men never conquer. They seek noise to drown their thoughts, companions to silence their doubts, comfort to cover their fear. But Musashi walked alone. He trained alone, fought alone, traveled alone. Not because he despised men, but because he knew that the silence of solitude is the forge where the unbothered mind is made. When you stand alone, the world strikes hardest. It whispers, "You are forgotten." It tempts, "You are weak without us." It mocks, "You cannot endure this silence." But if you can learn to stand in solitude without flinching, without begging for distraction, then you will hold a strength that no crowd can give you. The wolf endures hunger in silence, but when it hunts with precision. The hawk waits hours, motionless in the wind, but when it descends, it does not miss the serpent coils unseen beneath the stone. But when it strikes, the prey falls without warning. Solitude is not emptiness, it is patience. It is the coiling of the strike. It is the sharpening of the blade. But solitude will test you. It will show you your own shadow, and shadows do not flatter. They reveal every fracture, every weakness, every hidden fear you carry. Most men cannot look at their own reflection without trembling. That is why they drown themselves in noise. But the warrior must face his own shadow, must stare into the mirror until fear dissolves, must act unbothered even by the demons within. This is where resilience is born, not in victory, but in endurance, not in applause, but in silence, not in the strike, but in the stillness before it. The storm outside is nothing if you have not silenced the storm within. When your body aches, when sleep is far, when hunger gnaws, when the doubts echo, can you remain unmoved? This is resilience. To feel the strike and yet not stumble, to feel the weight and yet not collapse, to feel the pain and yet act as if nothing bothers you. This is not blindness, it is strength. Remember, the forge does not shape comfort. It shapes through fire, through hammer, through pressure. Your mind is no different. If you flee from pain, you will remain brittle. If you endure it, you will emerge unbreakable. Consider the sea. It crashes against the shore day after day, but it does not tire. It erodes stone not by rage, but by patience. That is resilience, not the desperate strike, but the endless endurance. To live unmoved, to endure what others flee, to remain when others break. In Musashi's path, adaptability was survival. He carved weapons from wood when steel was absent. He fought with 2 blades when others swore only by 1. He shifted his timing, his stance, his entire style, to unsettle his enemies. Yet through every change, his mind remained still. He adapted his tactics, but never his essence. That is how you must live. Unbothered by change, unbroken by uncertainty, flexible in form, but fixed in command. The storm may shift direction. The river may carve a new path. The enemy may change their face. But the warrior who acts unbothered remains centered, never thrown. Do you see it? To act as if nothing bothers you is not passive. It is the highest form of command. It is the hawk above the battlefield, watching every movement, yet never revealing its intent. It is the serpent coiled, waiting for the single strike that ends the fight. It is the mountain enduring centuries of storm, still towering when the sky has forgotten its own rage. But clarity is required. Without clarity, you cannot endure. A clouded mind trembles at every strike. A fogged heart collapses at every wound. Clarity is the sword that cuts through chaos. It is the edge that makes stillness possible. Without clarity, stillness is only paralysis. With clarity, stillness is power. So you must sharpen clarity as you sharpen steel. Cut away illusion. Cut away fear. Cut away the voices that do not serve your path. Look directly at the storm. See it for what it is: noise, movement, chaos, but not command. The storm does not decide your reaction. You do always. There will be moments when death itself seems near, when the air is heavy with finality, when the silence of the grave hovers at your shoulder. Musashi lived with death as his constant shadow. He left this teaching like a blade for those who walk the way. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. To think lightly of yourself is to accept death before it comes. If death does not bother you, what else could? If the final shadow does not shake you, how can the passing insults of men? To accept death is to break free from fear, and once fear is gone, anger, envy, doubt, despair, they lose their roots. You act as if nothing bothers you because nothing reaches you anymore. Not storm, not shadow, not death. So pause again, warrior. Let this strike sink in. What is the storm you still fear? What is the shadow you still obey? What death do you still refuse to accept? Until you burn them away, you will always tremble. And trembling is defeat. The forge waits. The storm waits. Your shadow waits. What will you do? The battlefield is never silent. Even in the stillness before dawn, the air is heavy with the breath of men who fear. The storm inside them is louder than the clash of steel. But the warrior who has mastered himself walks into that field as if stepping into his own home, unbothered, silent, certain. Musashi fought more than 60 duels, and not once did he fall. Not because he was the fastest, not because his blade was flawless, but because his mind was unshaken. He could see through the storm, hear through the noise, act without tremble. His calm was his greatest strike. The hawk does not fear the cries of crows. The wolf does not falter at the howl of rivals. The serpent does not question its silence. They act in alignment with what they are, and so must you. To act as if nothing bothers you is not a performance. It is a return to your essence. To walk the way as naturally as breathing. The sea does not explain its tides. The storm does not apologize for its lightning. The mountain does not lower itself for the wind. Why then do you lower yourself to the words of men? Why do you waste your edge on those who cannot touch you? Every reaction you give to weakness dulls your steel. Every tremble you allow is a victory handed to the enemy. Stop giving them this gift. Hold your silence as your weapon. The forge has burned long enough. Now the blade must emerge. You have been struck, hammered, tested by fire. If you endured, you are no longer brittle. You are steel, cold clear, unbothered. But mastery is not comfort. It is not a resting place. It is a continuous strike. Each day demands it. Each moment is another chance to tremble or to endure. There is no final victory except the one you hold in every breath. Even Musashi, undefeated in battle, faced his final duel with death itself, and yet he did not flinch. He wrote the Dokodo, his final teachings, with death at his door. Calm, certain, unbothered by the shadow that takes all men. Understand this. Death is the last storm. If you can meet it without trembling, you have already won. And until that day, every lesser storm is nothing. No insult, no betrayal, no loss. No failure can shake the one who has accepted the end. When you walk with death at your side as a silent companion, you are free, and freedom is the ultimate calm. Now the question returns, sharper than before. When the storm strikes, when shadows surround you, when death itself draws near, will you stand like the mountain, or will you crumble like the sand? Do not answer with words. Do not answer with promises. Answer with how you live. Answer with how you endure. Answer with how you hold your silence when the world screams. This is the only answer that matters. The hawk circles, the wolf waits, the serpent coils, the storm gathers. And you stand, still, silent, unbothered. Because this is the way of Musashi, the way of the warrior, the way of the mind that bows to nothing, trembles before nothing, breaks for nothing. So let this final cut remain with you. To act as if nothing bothers you is not an act. It is the essence of mastery. It is the command that cannot be stolen, the edge that cannot be dulled, the silence that cannot be broken. Walk this path, sharpen it daily, forge it endlessly. And when the world strikes, as it always will, you will not tremble, you will not flinch, you will not explain. You will stand as the mountain stands, move as the hawk moves, strike as the serpent strikes, endure as steel endures. This is your command. This is your forge. This is your way. Now, warrior, what will you do when the storm comes for you?